Hello everyone, I'm going to give a quick update on how it went today at Sebring with the VITOUR P1 Plus tires. This is the first time that I've ever tried them, so that everyone knows I am using the 325/30 R20s, so it is the same size that I generally use with the Nankangs or others. But at any rate, this tire, if you haven't heard of it, it is a 200 tread wear tire, and actually it was a good looking tire. I was actually pretty impressed when I received them. One thing that is interesting as I look at it in terms of tread wear, it reminded me a lot of the Michelin Cup 2s, particularly with the shoulder and such. But anyway, so this is the passenger rear. This is our passenger front. I'm going to come back to this tire specifically in a few minutes. This is the driver front and driver rear. So even being a 200 tread wear with 20 laps-ish, may have been a few more, but with the 20 laps, it I don't know, it seems to have worn a little bit faster than a CRS2, although they call it a 200 tread wear. In fact, the owner of VITOUR said that when they developed the tire, that it actually, from their perspective, is more like a 240 tread wear, but they called it 200. So, maybe it is true. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe it is true, and I'm just perhaps jaded from the Nankangs, but I think what is worthwhile noting, so that everyone... So these are the times I did today. I would say very respectable, 221s, 222s, 221s again, right? My best times with the tire today. And if you take a look at the laps, very good, reasonable, all bunched together. Go to the last of the day, and again, 222, 222, 221. The last lap was I think I had a Miata in the way, so it kind of screwed it up. But they were kind of all ganged together, and within a second between the three laps. So driver error, whatever the case may be. But anyway, I thought it was worth, kind of talking through that. With the Nankangs, I do similar lap times, although with the Nankangs, I'm able to get as low as the 218s. I'm not certain that I would be able to get into the 218s with this tire. Maybe, with working with it and getting a little bit more familiar with it and understanding where you can and cannot push, maybe, but I'm not really certain. I think that where the argument or the positives are is that, man, this tire warms up fast. Like, it is sticky almost immediately, and literally, on the outlap, the tires were warm. I mean, I was feeling pretty comfortable, and I will also say, in the initial feel, was that the tires were very sticky, and I was a little bit surprised by that. I would also say that using the Nankangs a little bit more often than even like the Goodyear 3Rs. The Nankangs require 2 full laps, maybe 3 laps before the tires get really sticky, and so you can't. I cannot go out on lap 2 with the Nankangs and really punch it around off the corners and stuff like that. It will absolutely break loose. So I really need to get two full or a third lap before the tires have warmed up enough. Not the case with the VITOURs. They were, you know, one lap out and they were hot and ready to go. And it did feel initially more sticky, arguably than certainly the Nankangs, and maybe a little bit more sticky, at least on initial feel, than the Goodyear F1. So that was an interesting kind of thing that I noticed. The tire, you know, as I got into on the one that I had 4 laps, it was really 5 because there was an out lap, and that, you know, the device, the Garmin doesn't actually pick up first lap, right, or your out lap, or whatever the case may be. But so anyway, it doesn't really count it, even though it's a full lap. But anyway, I did get into a 4-wheel slide on lap 4 or 5, whatever it was, in turn 1, and very manageable. So I was able to catch it. It was great. Was really pretty excited about it. So that all went incredibly well. So I was really impressed by that. And I was a little bit worried because, you know, the Cup 2s on this car, when you get to the Shelby GT500, myself and I know other people that have had the Michelin Cup 2s, and this car likes to, the rear end likes to break loose, and it doesn't give you a lot of warning, and it's very, once that happens, it's hard to catch it, or harder to catch it. These tires, I went into a 4-wheel slide, very catchable, maneuverable, so was really happy about that. So anyway, those are kind of the negatives, the positives rather. On the negative side, it really does seem like they wear faster than the Nankangs, and arguably, I would say they seem like they're wearing similar to like a 100 tread wear Goodyear F1. You know, maybe if I get a couple sets of these, maybe, you know, that perspective may change, but that's kind of how I see it at the moment. Some other things I thought were negative is that this tire feels squishy. It is a little bit on the vague side, and I found myself moving steering wheel, trying to understand what I could and could not do with the car and the tires, and it was allowing me to move the steering wheel, but it wasn't really affecting the car or where I was going or what I was doing. So it had a bit of a vague feel. I assume that vague feel is because the sidewalls are probably not as healthy or strong as the Nankangs, which is giving it that kind of mushy. It's not a mushy feel, but it's not a very direct feel. I found myself not always understanding what my car was doing at different points in time. Again, maybe after many sets, I would understand that, and maybe that wouldn't be the case. But those are my initial thoughts. Now, more interestingly, is looking at the front tire, where it's a little bit hard to see. However, you can see that the inside of the second tread here was delaminating a little bit, and which is interesting. So again, I would say that you know, I don't know whether at one point, you know, we were working on pressures, and at one point I had pressures as high as 39 pounds, and I think it might have been 39 psi on this tire. And I think that it was too much. Again, the car didn't really like high pressures on the tires themselves, but I did allow them to get up to a 39 degrees to see kind of what I could or cannot do with the car. But anyway, and I also had a 4-wheel skid, right, or slide rather, and it is possible that that happened during the four-wheel slide. And then, you know, I did play with the pressures a bit, just trying to understand the tire a bit more. But anyway, so I definitely saw that when pulling the wheels off today. I've got to do the front brakes before I go back out. But so arguably the tires seem to be fast. I don't know that I will get comfortable enough because I don't care for the vague feel of them when on the track, and so I don't know that I'm gonna kind of go after these and you know, although I would say this, I dislike the Cup 2s on this car, that I would absolutely buy these over a Cup 2. Given a Goodyear 3R or the Nankang CRS version 2, again, I keep coming back that my favorite track tire seems to be the Nankang CRS version 2 because it does everything well. It matches my best lap times with the Goodyears, so I can get the best lap times with that tire, and I get multiple track days with the CRS version 2s, which is, you know, where I would go through 2 sets of Goodyears. I can actually get 1 set of the Nankangs to last about two of the Goodyears. So it seems like you know, it's the best of both worlds. And again, I would also, you know, for the critics, in full disclosure, I cannot get the Goodyear 3Rs in a 325/30/20 rim. I can only get the 305s in that size. And arguably, if they made a 325/30/20 3R Goodyear, it might I might actually get better lap times, and it might be a better track tire. Although arguably, it would probably still wear as fast. But anyway, for all those that were looking at or considering this as a tire, those are my first initial thoughts after coming off the track and spending it, you know, at Sebring today. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions or comments, please add them. I do my very best to respond to everyone. Okay? Thanks so much.